Let's discover the Octagon in Washington, D.C. The Octagon House, also known as Colonel John Taylor III's house, was constructed from 1799 to 1800 and is located on 18th and New York Avenue in Washington, D.C. This lovely prime piece of real estate was originally owned by Colonel John Taylor III, and he was one of the richest men in 18th century Virginia. And the Octagon has a peppered past and stories that reach from beyond the grave. So, after the British destroyed the White House in the War of 1812, for 6 months this served as a temporary residence for President James Madison, and is only one of 4 houses to serve as a presidential residence in the history of the United States, and only one of 2 that still exist, the other being the White House. And contrary to what you might believe, the name doesn't come from the number of sides on the floor plan, but the number of angles in the building. Octagon became a national landmark in 1960 and a museum in 1970, but that's not what brought us here. The hauntings did. It's supposedly one of the most haunted places in Washington, D.C. And ghosts have been felt in many areas of the house, including the spiral staircase, second floor landing, third floor bedroom, and the garden area in the rear. You see, the spiral staircase is not just beautiful, but it's the home of at least 2 hauntings, Colonel Taylor's daughters themselves, and visitors have heard screams and footsteps in the area and even felt cold spots. You see, the Colonel and his wife Anne, they had 15 children, and 2 of his daughters died on the staircase while fighting with their father. One because she was having an affair with the enemy British soldier, and the other because they secretly eloped and didn't let the family know. Another of the ghosts is supposedly Dolly Madison. She didn't die in the house, however she's supposedly attached to it because she loved to host soirees and balls there. The Octagon is also supposedly haunted by the former enslaved that lived in the house. See, while they were alive, they were summoned by bells, so sometimes when you're walking down the hall or through a room, you can hear the faint chiming of bells. One particular haunting is of a former enslaved girl who was murdered in the house and hidden in the walls, so you can hear pounding on the walls at all hours of the night. Another is a gambler who was supposedly shot in the house during an argument, and he still wanders the halls. Now, in addition to the apparitions, there are disembodied voices, footsteps, whispers, there are smells, there are objects that move, there are cold spots. There are so many things that go on in this place. Now, could this be a vortex of ghostly activity or just the history of the place? Why don't you find out?